What is up, bros and broettes? I am Inkslasher, and today we're talking about the top 5 weapons in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now, this is going to be an interesting one because overall, I think the weapon balance in this game is pretty alright. I wouldn't say certain weapons are so overpowered on top of other ones like we've seen before in many other Call of Duty games. However, I do think there are some weapons that reign supreme over top of the other ones, and those are the ones we are going to talk about today. So, if you enjoy the video and like what you see here, it'd be fantastic if you could hit that like button. But without further ado, let's get into talking about the 5 best weapons in Infinite Warfare. Now, first things first, I do have to say that there is one honorable mention that I haven't been able to use in multiplayer, so I don't really know if it deserves a spot on this list yet. Now, I've heard both things from people. Some people say it's absolutely amazing, and some people say it's an absolute piece of garbage, and that is the M1 Garand. Now, it's a classic weapon, it's a semi-automatic assault rifle, and I don't know whether it's good or not, just because I haven't really been able to use it. When I have played gun game, I have got my hands on it, and it seemed pretty good, but that being said, I'm playing gun game, so it's next to impossible to tell how it'll actually play in a regular lobby. So, I don't know if that weapon's good or not, but we're going to be talking about the 5, counting down a list of the 5 best weapons here. So I'm actually adding this part in right here after I've made the whole video, and I realized that I didn't include this anywhere. So on this list, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but there's no LMGs, no sniper rifles, and no shotguns. The reason for that is in this game, they're kind of underpowered compared to the assault rifles and SMGs, but this is actually pretty common as far as Call of Duty goes. In pretty much every Call of Duty game we've seen ever, SMGs and assault rifles reign supreme, partially because they're just easier to use. For example, if you take a sniper rifles are almost always going to be a 1-bullet kill, normally. That is always going to be a better weapon than an assault rifle or an SMG if you hit that bullet. The problem is hitting that bullet. There's a skill gap there, where if you're really good with a sniper rifle, you should always beat an assault rifle or an SMG. However, sometimes that skill gap is just too much, or the area where that weapon excels is too little of an area. For example, shotguns. You have to be in close range with shotguns. So that's why those weapons aren't on this list. Simply, they are not as versatile and don't perform as well in every single situation, like SMGs and like assault rifles do. However, that's beside the point. Let's get into this top 5 list, and let me know down in the comments, what are your 5 favorite weapons? I'll be always reading the comments, and I'm interested in what you guys think. So first things first, I don't necessarily think the order of these 5 weapons is perfect. I think you could kind of switch them around and still come up with a pretty damn good top 5 list. The only one that I will say is definitely in that spot is the number 1 place, and we'll talk about that one when we get there. However, coming in at number 5, we've got the Karma. Now, this weapon's interesting because I think this is the only weapon on this list that you could replace with another weapon. Maybe the FHR, maybe the HVR, any weapon like that I think you could replace the Karma with on this list. However, personally, this one is my favorite, and I know this is a top 5 list. It is going to come down a small amount to personal preference. Now, the reason why I like this SMG is it reminds me of other SMGs that I've done well with in the past. It's almost like a vector. That's the way I look at this weapon, and it has really good range. That is the thing with this SMG that I really like. I feel like I don't have to not shoot at someone if they're far away on the map. I can still pick them off because, first of all, the recoil pattern's pretty good, the range is pretty good, the damage is pretty good for an SMG. For an SMG, the fire rate is a little bit slower, but that's, again, what makes it easier to aim with this weapon. Now, like I said, I do believe that this weapon on this top 5 list could be replaced with maybe the FHR, maybe the HVR. There may be some other weapons but like I said, I think this is the only weapon on this list that could actually be replaced. I strongly believe that the rest of this list is by far the best weapons in the game. So if you got the game for Christmas, this is probably the weapon not only that you've used the most, but probably also seen the most. That's the NV4. Now, this is an assault rifle, and it's really good, but not amazing at the same time. And let me explain this. So the NV4 is an interesting weapon because it's kind of like the KN44 from Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Not that it like behaves the same or anything like that, but just every single one of the stats on it is good. There's no stat on this weapon that I think is a bad stat. The reload speed, the damage, the fire rate, everything is just a good stat. There's nothing bad about it, and that's really what makes the weapon good. When there's no faults in a weapon, that's going to be a pretty damn good weapon. Now, that being said, because of this, it can't be an amazing weapon because, like I said, there's no outstanding stats. There's just good stats. And what shocks me about this weapon in particular is it actually sees some play in competitive game mode. Not a ton, there's other weapons that are definitely played more, but what shocked me is when watching some competitive games they actually use this weapon. So for a weapon that doesn't have any amazing stats and just all around good stats, it's shocking to see that this weapon is used by so many people. But this is a weapon that'll probably be on this list that's the easiest to use. So if you're learning this game and just being able to get maybe a positive kill death ratio, this is the weapon for you, simply because it is so easy to use in so many situations. So as far as the top 3 weapons go, I really strongly believe that you could put these top 3 weapons in any order and really argue why one is better than the other. However, this is the order I'm going to put them in. But the question I got for you guys today is, what are your top 5 weapons? Let me know down in the comment section below, what are your 5 favorite weapons out of the game, and rank them in order. I'm really curious to see what you guys think. I think it's going to be different for pretty much everyone because the weapon balance is pretty alright in this game. But coming in at number 3 on this list is the Volk. And you guys may be shocked about this because I've talked so highly about the Volk, but it's just because we've talked so much about assault rifles. Now, the Volk is really good. To me, it's just a better version of the NV4. At every single range, it has a better time to kill. It has very little recoil. It deals a ton of damage. The only problem with this weapon is it has a slow fire rate. What does that mean? It means that with this gun, you have to have better aim than you do with an NV4. Why? Because your follow-up bullets are going to come slower. So if you're starting to miss bullets, your time to kill is going to drop lower and lower and lower very, very quickly. Where with the NV4, you have follow-up bullets coming out quicker, so if you miss a couple bullets, it's not as big of a deal. So with this weapon, it's a better version of the NV4, but you gotta be more accurate with it. And because of that, I think a lot of people don't use it, but if you haven't tried out the Volk, it's absolutely amazing. I know you unlock it later in your prestige, but as soon as you unlock it, give this weapon a try, because it is so good, and it has an amazing, amazing time to kill. So coming in at number 2, I actually have 2 weapons in at number 2. Why? Because they're almost absolutely identical. So the first one is the OSA, and this is the exact same weapon, or next to the exact same weapon, as the K-bar. Now, I talked about this on Monday, but basically the only difference between these 2 weapons is that the OSA has a better fire rate, but the same damage profile, which means at every single range, the OSA is going to have a better time to kill. Now, the only problem with the OSA is it has more recoil. So what I strongly suggest is that both of these weapons are really good. They're really, really good, and as soon as you unlock the K-bar, you unlock it pretty early. I suggest giving it a shot. Now, the thing is you unlock at level 55 the OSA. So what I suggest is on the smaller maps, the ones where you're going to be in more close quarters, you use the OSA. On the ones where you're going to get into longer gunfights, use the K-bar, because the reasoning is that the K-bar has less recoil but a slower fire rate. The OSA has a more recoil and a faster fire rate. So you're going to kill people with the OSA, but it's also going to be more difficult to stay on target. However, both of these weapons are pretty damn good. That being said, if you are a better player, you can control your recoil a little bit more, and you have really good aim, the OSA is the weapon for you. It is so good. Like, so good. Just give it a shot. You might take a couple games to get used to the recoil on it, because it has a good chunk of recoil, but both of these weapons, the K-bar and the OSA, perform very, very well. The OSA just being a little bit better. But that being said, you might not be level 55 yet, and if you don't have this weapon unlocked, the K-bar is a good second choice. Now, coming in at number 1, and I'm shocked that this weapon does not get more love. I'm dead serious when I think this is the best weapon in the game for so many reasons, and it's the RPR Evo. Now, during the beta, this game got a lot of love. A lot of people really, really enjoyed it, but to me, this is still reigning supreme as the best weapon in the game. First of all, up close, it absolutely annihilates. A super fast fire rate, and I really don't think it has that much recoil at all. And then on top of that, you can switch it to an assault rifle mode at long range and just destroy people with that too, because it has a very low recoil, a slower fire rate, but still packs a mean punch. Now, the thing is that with this weapon, there's this really odd middle range. This middle range where it's between using the assault rifle mode and the SMG mode, and you kind of have to get used to what weapon mode to use in that area, and once you master that, you're really able to dominate with this weapon. But overall, I would say most of the time, keep this weapon in SMG mode, because it absolutely shreds. Almost reminds me of like the Vesper from Black Ops 3, with how fast that fire rate is. It's an awesome, awesome weapon, and I really do recommend it. Now, that being said, there's a little bit more of a learning curve with this weapon than something like, let's say, that we talked about before, the NV4, because there's more aspects that are going to come into play. First of all, should you use assault rifle mode? Should you use SMG mode? Are you going to be able to control the recoil at the range you're shooting at the person at? The fire rate's pretty damn fast, so you got to get used to that. So it's a little bit more difficult of a weapon to use, but I feel like once you master it, it's definitely going to outperform almost every weapon on this list. And that being said, I am an SMG player. I like using my SMGs. I enjoy using my SMGs, and they're my favorite class of weapon to play with. So because of that, I'm a little bit biased towards putting this weapon at number 1. But that being said, you can use it in assault rifle mode too, which is pretty damn awesome. And it's that versatility that I think really lets it get that number 1 spot. Now, that being said, not many people use this weapon in competitive game modes, which is completely fine. But remember, in this video, we're not talking about competitive. We're talking about public matches, and public matches are played completely different than competitive matches. And if you played competitive matches, I'm pretty sure you'll 100% agree with me. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a whole bunch of different types of comments, and let me know what your favorite 5 weapons in the game are. I'll be reading all the comments, and I'll be really interested to see what you think. I'll also be responding to comments down there, so let me know what you think. But also, if you're new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you hit that subscribe button. I upload new Call of Duty videos every single day of the week, and if that's something you're interested in, that subscribe button is sitting there with your name on it. But also, my Twitch, Twitter, Let's Play channel, and Instagram are all down in the description. You can check that out. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, peace out.
Of things we know.